Big game for the New Orleans Saints against the Dallas Cowboys. Wow, I loved it. I love seeing every aspect of that game. That was one of the most that was one of the most exciting times I've ever had rooting for the Saints without Drew Brees. It may be the most exciting. I don't know because I loved watching Jameis Winston throw 6 touchdowns against the Packers. Um, yeah, let's dive right into it. So, first quarter, Saints running back Alvin Kamara ran in a 5-yard touchdown. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey kicked a 52-yard field goal. Saints quarterback Derek Carr threw a 70-yard touchdown to wide receiver Rashid Shaheed. Second quarter, Brandon Aubrey kicks a 38-yard field goal. Derek Carr threw a 57-yard touchdown. It was like on a screen pass to Alvin Kamara. Cowboys quarterback Derek Carr throws a 65-yard touchdown to wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Al- Alvin Kamara runs in a 12-yard touchdown. Dak Prescott threw an interception to Saints cornerback Paulson Adebo, who returned it 47 yards to the Saints' 33-yard line. Derek Carr ran in a 1-yard touchdown on a sneak. Brandon Aubrey kicked a 48-yard field goal. At halftime, the Saints led 35-16. Third quarter, Brandon Aubrey kicked a 40-yard field goal. Alvin Kamara ran in a 7-yard touchdown. The extra point was unsuccessful from Saints kicker Blake Grupe. Fourth quarter, the Cowboys turned the ball over on downs at the Saints 16-yard line. Derek Carr threw his first interception of the season off a tipped pass off the hands of Chris Olave, and Cowboys safety Donovan Wilson caught it and had the Cowboys with possession at the Saints 47-yard line. First play following the interception, Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu intercepts Dak Prescott, setting the Saints offense up at their own 30-yard line. Cowboys turned the ball over on downs at their own 13-yard line, and Blake Grupe kicked a 26-yard field goal. Saints won 44-19. Wow. It was quite the game. Um, there was some notes I had before I touch base on like every aspect of the game. Uh, there was a missed face mask call on the Saints on the Cowboys opening drive. It's weird. Secondary completely whiffed on their tackles on the first Cowboys touchdown to CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what Tyrann Mathieu was thinking. I don't know what anyone was thinking. CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I have CeeDee Lamb in fantasy, so I guess that helped me. Um, First drive of the second half, and the Cowboys were marching better than ever. And there was a lot of missed tackles, but they only ended up with a field goal because Dak Prescott got strip sacked on third down, and they got a big loss. Chase Young could have picked up that ball. He had the ball in his possession, but he tried to scoop and run. If he just lands on it, they don't get that field goal. So that's something in a closer game, I'd be nitpicking a lot at. So that's something to work on. In that situation, just land on the ball, especially with all those guys around you. Klint Kubiak is the best. I just wrote that down. Before a third down, I yelled out they should direct snap on to Taysom Hill, and they did. It was literally a third down, and I'm like, why don't we just direct snap Taysom Hill, let him run it? And then it's exactly what they did. Clint Kubiak just reads my mind. Um, Touchdown got called back on Cesar Ruiz being an ineligible man downfield. Um, so just something to work on in the future. Ruiz just gotta work on it. NFL's been a little stingy with the ineligible man downfield, so just work. That's something to work on. Even in these big games that the Saints have and they're dominating their opponent, there's still stuff you can work on. Cooper Rush came into the game for the Cowboys with under 6 minutes left, and Jake Haener came into the game for the Saints on the following drive. So, seen Jake Haener in 2 games. um, yeah, what a fantastic start. The Saints were 3 points away from being the third team in NFL history to have the was it 3 straight games of 47 or more points. The '07 Patriots were one of them. And I think it was the 1940 or 41 Chicago Bears. Um, just a fantastic game all around. Derek Carr, the one interception went off the hands of Olave. Carr looks so comfortable. He looks so comfortable in this offense. I think he benefits so well being in a West Coast offense. Alvin Kamara definitely is benefiting. I mean, any running back in this offense should benefit. But Kamara had his fifth touch. He had how many touchdowns? He had one, two, three, four, four. Yeah, four touchdowns. He's the first Saint ever to have multiple games of four plus touchdowns. I really wanted to get him to get his fifth because if he had gotten his fifth, he would have been the second player in NFL history to, he would be the only player in NFL history to have five touchdowns or more in multiple games. So, I wish he got in instead of Derek Carr running in the QB sneak. But oh well. Rashid Shaheed's just proving again and again that maybe you need to play two high safeties against the Saints, which is crazy to think about. Uh, Olave looking better than ever. Uh, again, the tight ends are being reliable with Foster Moreau and Jawan Johnson. They're being really reliable targets. Taysom Hill got hurt in this game. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow against the Eagles. I'm also not going to be reviewing the Saints this week for obvious reasons. So you'll see me week 4. Yeah, I mean, offense looks fantastic. You dropped 44 points on the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys defense is no joke, but Mike Zimmer has no idea how to scheme for Alvin Kamara. He's just that good. Alvin Kamara passed 6,000 career rushing yards. Uh, Kamara now has more total touchdowns than Christian McCaffrey does. Um, so yeah, I mean, this is this is fantastic. I didn't expect this heavy of a start. Now, if there's any sort of if I'm stepping back and if the Saints aren't legit necessarily, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you beat the Panthers. I get that. I said that last week that all right, maybe it's a fluke. Who knows how the Saints are going to play against the Cowboys. Um, Cowboys are also a very mountainous team. Like their peaks are the highest in the NFL, are some of the highest in the NFL, but their valleys are their lowest points are some of the worst in the NFL. So yeah, they're a roller coaster team. So it's possible the Saints hit the Cowboys on their worst game. I thought it was gonna be a back and forth game at the start, and the Cowboys just couldn't keep up. So Micah Parsons was irrelevant in the game, which is crazy. I also just traded Aiden Hutchinson for Micah Parsons. Aiden Hutchinson goes for 4.5 sacks, and Micah Parsons it didn't do anything. Offensive line is the offensive line, you're doing so much better than I thought. You're proving me wrong. You're proving everybody wrong. Shout out to you guys. Like Lucas Patrick is playing fantastic. Eric McCoy is one of the best centers in all of football. Uh, Trevor Penning continues to just elevate his game, I think, in this offense. This offensive line is coming together really well. I think this scheme is really helping them out too. If there's one improvement that I think if the Saints were to get a better fullback, I think Taysom Hill is the best fullback on the team when he's out there. And I think when he's playing fullback, he's just better. I'm very curious to see how the Saints play the Eagles defense if Taysom Hill were not to play. Um, because as I know they got Adam Prentice and Adam Prentice can play fullback, but I'm very curious to see if you see more single back sets, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints run offense drops significantly. Um, uh, I'm I'm very curious. Defensively, um, I think maybe the D line just needs to get to the quarterback more. If there's anything I can point out to the whole team, that it's probably that. Um, Linebackers, Demario, Pete, they're all doing everybody's doing fantastic. Willie Gay's doing great. Secondary without Marshawn Lattimore. I saw the one this one guy I follow on Twitter, he's an actual doctor. He's also loves football, so he provides updates on injuries, what the likelihood of a certain injury would be. It's very helpful. I don't remember what his name is, but he also said this is the one time I'm like, really? I screenshot it because I was like, it's not going to happen. I have CD Lamb in fantasy. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Uh, he had said like because Marshawn Lattimore's not going to play, CeeDee Lamb could go for like 60 to 80 points in fantasy. I'm like, no, he's not. No. I knew even if Lattimore was out, the secondary's still going to play great. That's Dennis Allen's secondary. Dennis Allen works so well at making a good secondary. Um, Paulson Adebo, Alontae Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry, all three of them held their own. And this is why I thought Lattimore was going to get traded. I mean, I really thought Lattimore was going to be gone this offseason. I'm so glad he's still here. I want him long term. I just don't know if the Saints want him here long term. Tyrann Mathieu continues to play well. Outside of the missed tackle on the CeeDee Lamb touchdown, he has been playing at an all-pro level. And there's constant rotation. Will Harris seems to be the safety next to Matthew. But I'd like to get a better safety in there. Um, Otherwise, yeah, everybody in the secondary is playing great. Groupie's one missed kick so far this year was an extra point, and we were already up. It would have made it 45-19. So, yeah, we were already up. I'm not worried. He ended up making a 26-yarder later on. Um, yeah, I mean, Derek Carr, every time Derek Carr is on the field on offense, the Saints have scored either a touchdown or a field goal. I mean, the Saints have the best offense right now, statistically speaking. I mean, on all aspects, running the ball, passing the ball. I'm very curious to see how this offense plays against the Eagles. The Eagles defense is kind of made to stop the West Coast offense. Um, the defense is meant to stop the West Coast offense. So I'm very curious to see how the Saints game plan against the Eagles. Yeah, like I said before, I'm not doing a recap for next week Eagles Saints. You won't see that from me. I'm gonna enjoy this game. If you're wondering I mean, I said it last night in our stream. I'm wondering if you're wondering how I view Saints Eagles games. I just root for offense and I hope nobody gets hurt. I really hope nobody gets hurt. It's like watching, I think this is how a mom feels when they watch their kid play football, like in middle school. They're like, oh, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. That's kind of how I am the whole game. I just don't want anyone to get hurt. I want a high scoring game and I would love if nobody lost, but someone's gonna lose. I mean, they might tie, and even then, I don't like ties. I hate ties in all sports. But yeah, Saints played anyway. Saints played phenomenal um, against the Cowboys of all teams. Thank you. I hate the Cowboys. Um, yeah, I mean, they're playing great football. Um, I'm so glad. I knew last year the offensive coordinator was terrible. I knew Pete Carmichael was terrible, and I knew there's talented players on this team. And the really big question mark was Derek Carr, and but the outside of the players, it was offensive coordinator. So I mean, you go from Pete Carmichael to Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak might get a head coaching job next year. I hope not. I hope in perfect world, I might have said this already. Klint Kubiak is the head coach, Dennis Allen's the defensive coordinator. So, otherwise, fantastic game from the Saints. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this whole season and how this whole season plays out. But if they keep playing like this, we could be seeing like an 11 plus win team. So, all right, That's my recap for the week for Saints Cowboys. Go Saints.